Good morning, Cowboy Jim. Just hanging out here in Fort Mac in my basement apartment. It's kind of a nice little apartment. YouTube, they say every time you go on, you do a video, you ask people, plead with people to please subscribe. Please do. Anyways, Coutts, border crossing. Thrill of a lifetime for me to go down and talk to people and listen and listen. A lot of people, they don't understand what talking to people means. It means posing a question, perhaps, or answering one and answering as many as you can. And when I followed the second, third, fourth, I think I was in about the fourth convoy to go from Coutts border crossing. Oh, the RCMP were so happy when they saw everybody pulling out. They didn't realize they were going a couple of miles north and cutting across over to the little town of Coutts. And the RCMP, they congratulated you anytime they saw you get in your truck, start it up, and pull out of the main convoy of true Canadians, protesters. And I followed the group over to a little town called Coutts, and I had a lot of fun. Lonely, actually, but fun. And I walked up. Oh, gee, I had to walk where I parked my truck was down in a little bit of a valley, along with hundreds and hundreds of, at least 100 or so other pickup trucks and family van type stuff, and walked up through the agro show almost. Admired those JCB tractors and my favorite green, John Deere green, and walked through the grass. And I well remember a friend of mine from down there for southeast foremost Alberta, New Hope and Hall. And he told me stories about them being out fencing in January down there, and the sun come out and the rattlesnakes would form a ball and trying to keep warm with each other. And I guess the ones on the inside, if they could breathe, were doing pretty good. They'd certainly be warm. But I walked across the grass and I thought, bears really like me. Mountain lions, they don't like me. And I thought, jeez, I don't like snakes. I'm in a bad place. And gee, I thank God I did not see a snake. It was warm enough they could have been out, I'm telling you, gee whiz. Anyways, it took quite a while to get away from the truckers in the bottom of that coulee and walk up onto the higher ground and walk through the police and geez, police all over. And head up to that saloon, that weirdest saloon I ever saw in my life. I didn't see any alcohol, not once. I watched, in that convoy down there, people would be sitting out with their lawn chairs and a little can of something in the arm of the lawn chair, and I'm very attentive. I run truck when I'm allowed to work, and it doesn't seem as though it's been much lately. And but I think Coca-Cola was the most popular can that was in those arms of the lawn chairs. Not a drop of alcohol anywhere. Not a single person being impolite. Not a single swastika flag either, nor a Confederate flag. And but anyways, I joined this convoy. Pretty well had to. I mean, people walking up and down amongst the thousand. Oh, I've had more vehicles parked down in the ditch all over the place, horses grazing, children playing. I mean, I don't know what they're, kids all over, mums and dads and grandpas. And, well, I'm old enough to be a grandpa, and I am a grandpa. And I got up out of that valley over at the little town of Coutts and made my way, as I said, through the police and everything. And I was headed over to the border. Town of Coutts seems to be split with a plastic chain. One side of the chain is Canada. The other side of the chain is the United States of America. Oh, I met a lot of good American people. Jeez. They're not much different than us. They're all pissed off with their liberal government. It's called Democratic. And a lady kind of appeared at my side. She walked up to me. I mean, it wasn't an apparition or anything. And as we walked over to the border, she was interviewing me about as much as I was interviewing her. And I thought she was an Asian lady, but I guess a long time ago she probably was. She was a First Nations lady. Not sure if she said she was Sioux or not. Can't quite remember. We talked about the Creator, the one I believe in, and she said the same one that her ancestors believed in, and she had been in government school, and government had tried to assimilate all the children with indoctrination to help them become white behaviorally anyways. Sick. And I told her that about that TV show, documentary almost, called Indian Horse, and told her that it had taken me, I think it was 7 or 8 times trying to watch that, and I couldn't hold my food down. I just felt sickened to my stomach. And she told me a little bit about her experiences in the government school. And I asked her, I said, have you watched Indian Horse? I don't know the actor's name who was the head guy. There were several. What a job of acting. Unbelievable. Acting is a wonderful thing that I have tried to be a part of. I was going to say I almost got hired on Hell on Wheels, but screwed my lines up a bit and didn't work out. Hard as that is to believe. But acting is an easy thing if what you are acting out is what you yourself believe in. So I would never be able to play certain roles that I'd be ashamed for my grandchildren to watch. I wouldn't do it. And so she told me as much as she could about the government schools. And so by the time we got to the border, I was nauseated, fully sickened. Of course, people might say I'm a bit sick anyways, but Judge on, children. It's your reign. Not all, I know. Good people. We're Canadians. There are good people in Canada. But good people sometimes get pointed in the wrong direction. The government schools, that was the wrong direction. The people they had in leadership in the schools, that was wrong people. You don't abuse children in order to indoctrinate them to your own belief systems, but I guess that's what abusers do. They do abuse children, and they do try to cause children to believe that they, as children, they themselves are the root of the problem. And that's what a true abuser does, is he tries to find some way to make the abused feel guilty. And a truly good abuser, what was that guy's name? That Kelvin, anyways, Kyle, who was charged with assault because he beat me up. Well, geez, it'd hardly be called elder abuse. I was only 71 at the time. I let him beat me. Couldn't defend myself, not with words, not with actions, lest I'd be fired. And that's the problem in our society. The victim is guilty until the victim can prove their innocence, if they can afford it. If they can't, you're screwed. And the perpetrator, abuser, many times over convict in my case, not me, but the abuser is vaunted, accorded respect by people who want a semblance of truth, but they don't want to know the truth. They don't want to know. They don't want to know about the little First Nations children who were sexually abused, beaten. The little kids who actually committed suicide because they couldn't see a way out beyond the pain that they were being inflicted upon them by adults under the guise of some, shall we say, misdirected religious group who let people become priests, and I dare say perhaps nuns, a few, who they themselves were sick. You abuse a child, trust me, you're sick. Okay? It's not allowed. Shouldn't be allowed. Seems to happen. It's not right. People pick on First Nations as being inferior in some way. I've had the privilege and the honor of meeting many First Nations people. I only met one. What was his name? Bruce something. Whom I held in abject disrespect. But for the most part, I truly respect my First Nations friends, and I still don't think I could watch that movie called Indian Horse, and if you haven't seen it, you should look it up. Don't eat before you watch it. You lose your lunch. It's so disgusting that our Canadian government did such an atrocity. But our Canadian government is doing it again with the Freedom Freedom convoy. I was walking beside a group of people, and the one guy, he said, that Mel Gibson, Braveheart, he said, oh, that was a man. Wallace, that was a man. His government, the English government, betrayed him too. Our government is betraying us. And when I say us, I mean Canadian citizens. They say, the last poll that I heard, 1/3 of all Canadians stand with the Canadian truckers. But you listen to CBC, as I did yesterday on my drive north, and you hear processed hay, that which comes out of the tail end of a horse or a bull. It's the same stuff. I'd rather step in the horse manure than out of a bovine. But it's all horseshit. What our government is doing to our freedom convoy, that's what that is. The useless one down there in Ottawa, the one who put blackface on, totally bereft of everything that a Canadian represents. Politeness, respect, honor, all those things. And our government is doing to our Canadian truckers the same thing that the government did to the First Nations children, and putting them in government schools to indoctrinate them, to cause them to leave their belief systems in their creator. And it didn't work. Oh, it just about killed the spirit, the heart, the will of the First Nations people, Métis as well, who just want to live their lives in accordance with their belief systems. That's all I want, is to be able to live my life, have the freedom of speech to encourage. So I take my hat off figuratively. Probably a bad hair day, but it looks like it's kind of a bad hair day. And I want you to know, people of Fort McMurray, I ran into people would ask, where are you from? I said, I'm from Fort Mac, where we're busy cleaning up the world's greatest natural fossil fuel oil spill, known natural by nature, known to mankind. That's what we do up there, is we're cleaning it up. All the companies here, even the ones that won't hire me anymore, it seems, they're doing a righteous job trying to protect the environment. I'm trying to protect free speech. I'm trying to protect the children who have been used and abused sexually not by government school operators, but by government itself. And I'm down to 1904, 3, or whatever. So we're going to wrap this up. Forgive me, this one may well be lacking in content. If you met that lady, that First Nations lady that I walked with over to Coutts, you took time to talk to her, I would never recommend asking her what went on in the schools. You don't want to know. I didn't want to know. I don't want to know. But that's our government. Remember that the next election, getting down to it. God bless you. Don't want to go over 20, but God bless.